So let's wait for people to come in. Exciting evening tonight. So all our speakers really come from super varying backgrounds and journeys. Teka, let me remind them. Hi, Brian.
Hi.
It's his first time to use. So how are you adjusting to Twitter?
Well, no, I mean, I've used Twitter before. I didn't even know Twitter had this function. I stopped using Twitter like a long time ago.
Oh, okay. Okay. So welcome to Twitter Spaces. Okay, let's just wait for Chezka is in. Let's see. Hey Chezka, I think I already invited you to speak. And let me just get you. Okay. I think is he here? Wait a minute. Let's see. Okay, welcome guys. Welcome in. I'm just reminding. I think we have let's see. Cheska's there already,
Hi.
and let me just. Hey
Good
Cheska.
evening.
Good evening. Teka ha. Let me just. Uh-huh. Let me just remind you. Okay. All right. Where's Giu? Did I miss him? Teka. Okay. All right. So good evening, everyone. Let's wait for more people to come in. I'm still waiting also for one of our other speakers. I hope Brian, you're feeling better. Because he's not feeling well, but so thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, buti na lang it's not in person. Otherwise, there's no way I would have made it.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Buti na lang talaga it's voice. So at least we'll have you tonight, no? And it's going to be very interesting to hear all of your stories. Sige. Siguro while we're waiting for people, hi to everyone here. Of course, our speakers. I'm just waiting for one more. Um, so hi to Ska, Brian. Thank you so much. We're waiting for Giu to come in. And also hi to Putik Brown, Jopet, Ape Lom. I always have a hard time. Ninong Jules, Sangli, si Mervin, Rain, Balitang Crypto, John, and Jean, Maharlika, Costas, Bernadette, Aaron, and Malu. So let's wait for the others. Okay. So okay, I think people are trickling in. I hope it's not so rainy where you guys are. It's been rainy the last few days, pero the good thing it's been rainy but not strong winds, no? So hopefully it'll stay that way because the strong winds that's when it causes a lot of problems. Hi Isma, I saw you come in. Okay. So while waiting for Giu, siguro so this is our ninth already. I can't believe it's already our ninth Twitter Spaces, and we've had our last one siguro about close to a month ago. Ang bilis, no? Parang it seems like only a week ago. So that's how fast time flies in Web3. Um, so I'm excited to share with you that, our Twitter spaces, we try to record and curate them so that, and also try to clean them up so that people can go back to them in case, um, you know, you miss some of our Twitter spaces or part of our Twitter spaces. But we do try to get, our very good speakers to share their experiences with us. Okay. Um, we have this is already we've had the other Twitter spaces that we've had are NFTs in Asia, We had our AMA. We also had riding the NFT wave. This was at the start of the bear market, and we had a lot of good speakers in the field. We also had the celebrity stake, which is their thoughts. A lot of the celebrities in what they think of, what they think of this space and how they also grew to become influencers in their own right. Sorry, I'm just closing the door. It's kind of more quiet. Um, we also had collectors. We had some whales also in one of the talks. We also had community builders in one of the talks. And siguro for two series, we featured our project partners, such as Distort, Bipos, Bjorn for part one. In part two, we had Mustachios, Planktoons, and the special appearance of Ana Alcala, who is the granddaughter of Larry Alcala. She's the eldest. She's the eldest daughter of Lauro Alcala, who's the son of Larry Alcala. No, so para Lauro Jr. So it's very nice to have her. The last Twitter Spaces we had a few weeks ago, and to hear her thoughts on the space, and it's nice to see that what she really appreciated about what we're doing is extracting the characters, no, from slice of life so that people can own them. So that's what she liked a lot. Also, our talks are on Spotify and YouTube. Maybe our Spotify is not yet as updated now because we're still cleaning up the more recent ones. Okay. 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 Donna Giu is not yet here. Okay. So quick briefer on who we are. So Scarlet Box, we aim to bridge the generations to arts and culture. No, yun yung gusto natin because we saw that in this space, there's no representation of or not a representation of fine arts type of work, so that it'll be more accessible and so that we can preserve them more, no, for a lot of people. Teka, ha? Okay. And that's the reason why we did this, because we also want to have the works of our national artists also be known by the younger generation, and and to be appreciated. And how many naman can buy a Hoya right now? It's like what, 80 million pesos, 100 million. So and the works of Hoya and Imo are very scarce, no? They're not, because they passed away. There's not a lot of them available. Also, we have one thing that we do is we have our um, collectible boxes. So uh, that's something that sets us apart, not with a digital frame, the certificate of authenticity, and vial. So that's something that I think it's a tangible keeper that makes it more, premium for our collectors, because we want to make sure that they hold onto something that they can pass on to their children. And actually, that's what some of our collectors did. They bought so that they can pass it on and gift it to their children. Okay. So, and tonight, at the end of the evening, we will be announcing the winner of the spin wheel. And the winner will get a premium Larry Alcala merchandise. It's a beautiful, beautiful tumbler. And maganda, with the print of the whole barangay around it. No? And we will also be announcing the winner of our fan art contest, who will win. Oh, there, Gio is here. And who will win also a Larry Alcala NFT. There. Hi, Giu. Welcome.
Hello.
Okay. Okay. Hi. Okay. So thank you all. So let me start to introduce our guest tonight. No, alam niyo, it's very interesting yung ano natin tonight. Our talks tonight. No, because when I was reading up on all our speakers, they all have different parang life journeys na paiba-iba, na it's not just one path, na the same path, no? Paiba-iba sila. And it's very interesting to hear how they went through their life journey, and also what they think of Web3 and why they are in this space, no? So that would be very interesting to see, and also to learn, no? Because they're all amazing people. So let me start first with Brian, no? Brian Poe Llamanzares. So he's a serial entrepreneur, investor, and public servant. He has a blood of national artists running through his veins, kung hindi nyo alam. He is the grandson of national artist Fernando Poe Jr., no? Our very a very famous action star. And he is the son, Brian is also the son of Senator Grace Poe. He's also into the Web3 space as a co-founder of Unit 256. Now they are also they have also featured beautiful artworks no, in the fractionalized form. So maybe he can tell us more about that later. And I'm so grateful that he is here with us despite not feeling 100% well. So hi Brian, you want to say hi to everyone?
Hi everyone. Thanks for the introduction. Happy to be here.
Okay, thanks so much, Brian. Our next lady, the Rose Among the Thorns, is one of the most dynamic women ace, not Chezka Gonzales. She is an Airbus 320 pilot. That's so hard to do. She's a Philippine Air Force reservist, Women of Substance NFT founder. She's also a registered nurse. I did not know that, and a major proponent of the Philippine Blockchain Week 2022, this which will happen end of this November. She's a very resilient, very energetic, and very warm person. I've been lucky to meet her in person, online and in person. You want to say hi, Cheska?
Hi everyone. Thank you, Miss Sherry, for having me. Thank you for the
I think
introduction.
she's still connecting.
Oh, okay. Can you hear us?
Yep, can you hear me now?
Yes, na. Okay
Ayan.
na.
Hi everybody. Thank you for having me, Miss Sherry, and thank you for that introduction.
Yes, of
Hello.
course. Hello, hello. And last but not the least, we have Giu Comia. I didn't know this. He's a singer. He's a jazz artist. He's a blogger that I know. He's an actor, TV model, gamer, TV and crypto content creator. He's supportive of Philippine arts and culture. Maraming salamat. I didn't know this also. I'm misleading after his background. He's a after singer performer before, no, in hotels until he had to help the family, and then the pandemic made him change his course. We'll find out more about that later. He won gold and silver in the World Championship of Performing Arts. Wow, maybe he can sing for us later. So you will see his resilience as he navigates and succeeds in this path, no, called the life journey. So hi, Gio. You want to say hi to everyone?
Hi guys, happy to be here.
Okay. Thank you, thank you. Mamaya kanta ka para sa amin. I'm so curious. Nako, hindi ko alam na magaling ka palang kumanta. So, so all our special guests have gone through various unrelated walks of life. No, yun yung very interesting. But you can see that what they have in common is being resilient, being adaptable, and having a strong interest in Web3 space. No, that they've already become influencers in their own right with their own activities, with what they do with their life, and what they do with the content, no, as we are grateful that they share parts of their life, no, through the content that they create. So we will learn more about that. Siguro let me start first, and also before I forget, later on, people who have questions, just uh, raise your hand or send me a signal if you want to speak, and we have some door prizes for people who have questions or have insights to share. So, Brian, let me, if I may, I'll maybe go with you first. Maybe if you can, I don't know lang if you can talk comfortably. So, let me know na lang. So, we're curious. All of us are curious. No, if you can pedal back to the start of your career, maybe what you took up in college and where you went, and and how you eventually got here, no, to among the many things that you're doing and into the Web3 space. Oops, did you lose Brian?
Hi, Miss.
Huh. Maybe, oops, I think we lost him, right? Okay. Uh, Cheska, did you hear? Cheska, how about you? Are you okay? Can you hear me? Hello?
Oh, Miss Sherry.
Okay, good, good. Sige. So
Okay.
maybe if it's all right now, kasi I think, oh, there, Brian is there. Let me see if, I don't know if he heard me. Hello, Brian? Brian, can you hear
Yeah,
us?
hey, sorry about that. My internet got cut.
Oh, okay lang. Okay, no problem. That happens to us. No, that happens to us. Sometimes the internet, sometimes it's Twitter malfunctioning. So no worries at all. Did you hear what I said, Brian? Or I'm not. I wasn't paying attention. I wasn't sure whether you got cut off before because I was mentioning maybe if you can describe your journey. Maybe at the start of your career, what's your major that you took up in college, and kind of what's your life journey, and how you eventually got into the many things that you're doing right now. Share with us, and also into the Web3 space.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't hear that earlier, so it's a good thing you repeated the question.
Okay.
Uh, wow, life journey. it's kind of been a really long 10 years. If we're gonna start from what I took up in college, so I took up political science in college, just because I at an early age I really wanted to be involved in public service and kind of focus on giving back to the community. And that's all because like when my grandfather passed away, I saw how much people loved him and how much our family really owes this country. And I just really wanted to give back. So since I was 12, I really wanted to get into it. Eventually took political science because I wanted to serve in government. I had no idea that my mom was going to run for Senate. So when she ran for the Senate, that kind of like flipped everything upside down for me. Everything changed because we're not really a family of politicians. So she was the first from the family to become a politician. So that was a big moment for us because we finally had the opportunity to really give back to the community and focus on saying thanks, I guess, for all the years of love that Filipinos have shown my grandfather in his career. So we started there. Political science, worked in government for a little bit. I was a legislative
Hi, Miss
officer.
Sherry.
Yes.
Yes. Go
Can you
ahead.
hear me?
Yes,
No,
go ahead. Cheska, hold on.
no
Brian is
worries. I'm
sharing. Yeah.
just checking. I thought it's my internet.
Okay, okay. You're fine. Okay, go ahead,
Okay.
Brian.
All right. No worries. No, I was just gonna say that we I worked as a legislative officer for about a year. I also didn't know whether or not that was for me, so I also tried showbiz for a year because I thought maybe that would be, like my family's legacy. No one else was doing showbiz except for my aunt Lovey. So I thought could fit in there, but really I didn't fit in because I'm too much of a nerd. So I ended up compromising between public service and media, and I became a reporter for CNN Philippines. I was part of the pioneer batch back in 2014 to 15, and then around 2015, my mom decided to run for the presidency, and that I had to give up the career I had just spent a year trying to build as a reporter to join that campaign. It obviously didn't go according to plan, and after that election, I wasn't really sure if I wanted to continue to serve in government. So I was a bit in and out of it, and my friends from the campaign said that it's such a waste that I had developed such a network in the campaign. Why don't I try going into business? I didn't know anything about doing business except for my first, which was a food stall in Ateneo. So I didn't really know where to start. And they just told me to start with something I was passionate about. So that's when I started my first company, which was Time Master Watches. That's about 2017. I traveled to Japan, to China, and different places to kind of put together the first watch, which was the Poseidon, which was the first Filipino dive watch. So that was in itself a big experience for me because it started me on the path for business and entrepreneurship. I didn't really have that much capital, so whatever earnings I got from my first company, I invested it into smaller businesses. Um, and then my parents wanted me to take up further studies because they were saying that my bachelor's degree wasn't enough, and that if I wanted to be competitive in the job market, then I should definitely try to pursue higher studies. So I said okay, as long as they would support me. And my parents told me they'd support me, but only if I was able to get into an Ivy League school. So I studied super hard, applied to all the schools, and got into Columbia. My mom asked me to pick a program that would last only 1 year because she had another election coming up in 2019. So I told her, okay, but there's only all those programs are for people who have um, executive experience already or are exceptional. And she was like, well, I really need you to be able to finish your master's in 1 year. So I was like, okay. I ended up taking a program at Stanford for renewable energy and emerging technology so that I could add the credits so I could get into a 1 year program at Columbia for my master's in climate and society. I mean, I took the program because I figured that eventually climate change was something that our country should tackle, since we are the second most vulnerable, climate vulnerable country in the world. So I took the program, graduated, and then I worked for 1 summer at NASA on their climate program, and then I was offered to be regularized. And my mom asked me to come back and help her with her campaign, and I was like, well, I'm about to get regularized, and she said, but I need you here. So well, ultimately I took my master's because I figured that uh, climate and society or climate change, those studies aren't readily available here in the Philippines. So I figured whatever I could study there, I should bring back home. So it was a no-brainer for me. I turned down the job offer and I came back home. Uh, sure enough, joined her campaign. With my experience in business, I joined as her CFO, so that I could help manage the funds of the campaign. But then our campaign manager's wife passed away, so he had to take leave. So I ended up becoming campaign manager in the middle of the campaign because we had no one else. And sure enough, we did okay. She was able to finish second, right behind Cynthia Villar. And then I was supposed to leave and then focus on my businesses, and I wanted to apply at ADB for sustainable investing. And then she said no because her chief of staff also quit that year. So she asked if I could come in as kind of a holdover until she could find a new chief of staff. So I came on board, and I realized that her office was not organized very well by the previous chiefs before me. They were efficient and very good at what they did, but they didn't. The organizational structure wasn't put together well. So I just took what I learned from putting together my own companies, and put management systems in place. So you had your basic time in, time out, dress codes, office policies, just to make everything a bit professional. So I did that for a while, and I ended up getting stuck as chief of staff. Um, but at the same time, I had my companies which were growing, so I asked my friends who were working for me in those companies if they could go ahead and put together a holding company and run it for me while I was serving in the Senate. So, at least the private sector side was covered while I was serving in government, so I could give my full focus to my work. And then the pandemic hit, and that kind of changed everything because 1/3 of my portfolio in business was in F&B. I expanded using whatever I earned over the past few years into F&B. I had a bar in Poblacion. I don't know if any of you guys ever went to Dulo, but that was like one of my investments. Or there was this members only club in BGC called Refine, which I also invested in. They were going to expand to women's only members only club, and I invested in that for my sisters, so that they could kind of learn how to manage a company. Unfortunately, the pandemic hit, and all of my F and B investments fell apart. Another investment I had was a gym in QC, Billy James Fitness. We were gonna change it, rebrand it as 720 Fitness, and we were actually managing MMA fights. So we had a couple tournaments before the pandemic. They were called Friday Fight Nights, and the last one we had before the pandemic hit was in SM North EDSA, and then pandemic. So that entire portfolio fell apart, and I didn't know what to do in terms of business. Government was also at a standstill, so I had a lot of time on my hands, and I decided to take whatever money I had left and pivot to digital. So I looked for as many media, creatives, or digital related investments as possible. And that's kind of how I came on board with a new company called Oracle Media Group. It's a media holding company that also does public relations and marketing. So I put that together during the pandemic. And in that company, we have a like magazine, Negociante News, the Manila Journal, and Rapid News Philippines. All those publications we built over the pandemic, because we really felt that people would be shifting towards digital, and there would be budget again for marketing. And then also looked at an events company that my friends had that obviously because of the pandemic it fell apart, and they wanted to rebrand and diversify. So I gave them a little seed capital so that they could branch out into digital events, just to be able to adapt to the pandemic. And all of the so the portfolio kept growing, and eventually, just last year, it started doing really well, and then we started getting more and more clients for both the events company and our media relations company, and eventually we had enough capital to make bolder investments. And this was also around the same time that um, NFT projects were getting popular in the Philippines. So basically, I remember I started off with Axie, and not even because I wanted to make a profit off of Axie. It was actually more because a lot of people during the pandemic were asking me for jobs, and I really had nothing to give them. And then obviously I discovered Axies, and it was a way for me to give people without having it be like a dole out. Like I didn't want it to be like 10,000 pag-asa na here's 10,000 and then bahala ka na sa buhay mo. And obviously I couldn't give people like a franchise of a business or something to run, because everyone was trying to keep their businesses afloat. The Axie thing was a short term kind of band aid to tide people over until businesses opened up again. So I was very grateful that I was able to give quite a few people jobs that way. And I was really happy that I was able to do that. But it really opened my eyes to the potential of NFTs and crypto. Um, and so I started making investments more in crypto. But then the thing is, while I was doing this, I was meeting people who were doing really well in crypto and NFTs, and people who were doing really badly also, like people who lost everything because they put their money in crypto, house, home, savings, you name it, they lost it. And then on the complete flip side, I have people who were super successful and like jet set, traveling around the world, preaching the gospel according to NFTs, and it was just an interesting experience getting involved with the community. But for me, I didn't really have any entry into the market until my friends brought up Unit 256. So in Unit 256, they asked me to come on board, not because I was really a techie or a designer for NFTs or the best in the market, but really because they wanted me to talk more about the art side. Because I do appreciate art. I have a few that I was able to collect, but you know like what was said earlier, it's not easy for everyone to get into the art market because it's so expensive, and the pandemic made it even more expensive. So, for me, when they told me that they were gonna try and find a way to make art more accessible and more democratic, I was really happy to get on board. And we have a different system from Scarlet Box, and it's cool because it gives people more opportunities to enter the market, both in the fine art space and also in the digital space. So on our end, basically what we do is we don't the digital. We digitize existing art pieces and then we fractionalize it. Why do we fractionalize it? We fractionalize it so that we can make it more affordable. The last one that we did was with Sanso. So a Sanso painting of a decent size would probably run you about 3 million pesos, and one that's about 10 inches by 12 inches will probably run you about 200, 300,000 pesos. So what we did was we took paintings that will never be sold in the market, with the permission of Fundación Senso, digitized it, and then we fractionalized it so that we could sell it much cheaper to the market. So one fraction of it would be worth about 50,000 pesos. And Fundación Senso was understanding when we explained to them that it's not easy for everyone to be able to uh, adjust to the NFT market. So in order for us to kind of bridge that gap, Senso was kind enough to give us both a certificate of authenticity as well as a giclée. A giclée is basically a fancy print, right? But it's numbered, so you can only have so many prints of a certain painting, which gives it value. And of course, it's done by the estate itself, so that's why it holds value. And so they give that to the buyers of the fractionalized art. So not only do you have the NFT, but you also have a print of equal value. And that helps a lot of people who aren't familiar with NFTs get into the market in the same way that Scarlet Box has digital frames that you get to keep. which makes it easy for people to appreciate the digital art that Scarlet Box is creating. We went another route and we went with prints. So you can see how what we're trying to do here is we're trying to be able to bring the market together. We want the people in the NFT crypto space, and we also want a lot of the traditional art collectors to come on board. Because at the end of the day, same as Scarlet Box, we really just want to create sustainability. Web3 is something that's not going to go away. It's definitely the wild west of what's happening now in tech, whether it's transparency or efficient transactions or just holding value in things. Web3 is definitely cutting edge. But at the same time, the rules and regulations aren't super clear. So I'm sure Scarlet Box is doing something similar. But definitely, we're working with the artists and lawyers to make sure that the art is protected in the Web3 space. Because it would be such a shame if someone was ripping off national artists from the Philippines and making a profit off of it and not giving any royalties back to these families and to these people who gave us such beautiful works. So, in a nutshell, that's my entire 10 years of public service and business and school. And and yeah, and that's how I ended up here with NFTs and Unit 256. So, yeah, I hope I didn't bore you guys.
No, I mean, wow, that's amazing. And it's really there's a lot of things that I did not know, and one thing that really struck me was that how you sacrifice so much for your mom. Like a lot of the things that you're doing, whether it was to have a career in CNN or with NASA or with ABB, that you sacrifice that. No, so that's really admirable, and that's something that is really heartwarming, no, for a lot of the Filipinos to see, because your mom is indeed a public servant, no, so to help her do that. um Ulra, just to let you know, I can see you, but let me just, I'll pull you up after. And then I'll just let our other speakers tell their story. So for those that have just come into the space, so Brian Poe Llamanzares was our first recounted to us his life trajectory, on how where he is now. And for those of you that do not know, he is the grandson of Fernando Poe Jr., our national artist actor. He is the son of Grace Poe, our senator, and he is also the nephew of Lavi Poe. No, if those of you who know entertainment, so he comes from a family of entertainers and public servants, no, and on his own he is a well-respected entrepreneur, investor. We're very lucky to have him also as our collector of our founders NFT for Hoya and Email. So thank you so much for that. Next up, I'd like to, as the request of Chezka, unahin natin si Giu because she's getting into her car, no? I mean, getting home from her car. So
Nag-heart
Giu,
daw.
oh, nag-heart, oo nga. So Giu, ikaw naman, you have also compelling story, and I'd like to, will also please share with us, what you took up in college to, how you got to where you now. So sobrang interesting din yung story mo. So please go ahead.
Eto medyo mahaba-haba actually. Well, ang maganda rin yung compelling din, maganda rin yung story ni Brian. Hello Brian, nice meeting you here. And ayun, from at a very young age siguro, I'll start when I was in college. I was like part-time part-time working student in terms of I was into commercials, I was doing showbiz on the side. I was also a singer nung college. Talagang I was into the arts na talaga ever since. So iba talaga yung heart ko sa local Filipino work, lalo na sa national artist. That's why talaga sobrang ko dito, sobrang passionate ako about the project of Larry Alcala kasi yun talaga unang nakita ko dito. And um to dive into the story, start muna tayo when I started as like that, and then I was studying marketing management at University of Santo Tomas. Yun yung main course ko while doing all those stuff, being a singer, being doing commercials at the side hustle. Nag I was parang support actor sa mga teleserye sa GMA, and then nag-transfer din ako sa ABS for a time. I did that stuff. Hindi lang talaga sumikat, but more of like na dun ako sa may part ng mga support. And after that, after graduating, I I pursued deeply into my singing kasi talagang yun yung naging passion ko. So as a singer, naging na-enhance yung skills ko in terms of jazz music. So talagang nag-tour ako into hotels. Yun yung naging main at source ko after graduating, kasi sabi ko after graduating I want to focus on this. And ito talaga passion ko. So dun muna ako pumunta, and I got exposed to a lot of stuff. Aliw Awards, I was nominated, and yun talaga yung naging passion ko, singing. So sasampulan ko na lang kay mamaya. And
Yay.
oh,
Okay.
mamaya.
Yay.
Ah,
Okay.
nabansagan ako dati when I was young, the Michael Bublé of the Philippines. Pag isa-search nyo sa Google, I think nandun pa rin naman yon. And I was still doing commercials on the side kasi yun yung naging profitable for me, kasi sabi daw parang suki daw yung itsura ko sa TV commercials because character daw. So naging sustainable yun for me even without having a normal job. Kasi I from on to this day I never had a normal job. And then pero meron kaming construction business ng family namin, which is my dad, which is kumbaga support system para supportan yung family while I'm pursuing my own my own passions. And eventually, syempre, as you can see, very cruel din kasi na umabot ako sa point na yung traditional stage is transitioning to the digital stage. So that was a time na may CDs pa rin, pero wala nang bumibili ng CDs. At the same time, nagde-develop na sila ng digital albums, wala rin gusto bumili ng digital albums kasi takot na takot yung mga tao bumili sa internet. So I was in that awkward stage na hirap pumasok ang isang musician, artist sa industry because of that challenge. And then, after that, nag-boom yung YouTube industry, Facebook. So, kumbaga, nag-try ako. Nagkaroon ako ng girlfriend that time na nag-try kami mag-vlog sa YouTube. And then what happened is nag-viral kami as a couple. Umabot kami ng 500 to almost 1 million subscribers sa YouTube, and Facebook 1 million as a couple. We did that for a few years then. A few years. And then on the side, as you mentioned before, nag-compete din ako. Pinursu ko pa rin on the side yung singing ko kasi it's really my passion. So sabi ko, kung wala talagang album, ang hirap mag-release as a singer, sumali na lang muna ako ng contest abroad. So sumali ako sa World Championship of Performing Arts. I competed there, and luckily I won a gold and silver medal during that time. And then after the contest, yung my late dad actually, um, he died a month after that contest. Sinabi niya he was proud of me, and then suddenly namatay siya ng heart attack, and then suddenly parang nagkaroon ako ng like nagkaroon ako ng parang realization na ako na biglang breadwinner ng family. So parang naghirap talaga. Sabay-sabay nagkaroon ng pandemic. Tapos with the pandemic, nagkaroon kami ng breakup ng ex ko, unfortunately. So lahat ng sources of income ko nawala talaga during the pandemic. So the pandemic parang was really an eye opener din, kasi I lost my dad, we lost the business, I lost my social media career kasi nawala yung relationship namin kasi doon talaga naka-base. Singing career, you really can't pursue it. And then nabuhay na lang kami sa buffer ng dad ko during the pandemic. And then before sa kalagitnaan ng pandemic around 2020, na doon ko na discover yung you can earn online. So kumbaga pinurso ko muna ang singing ko online, earn some stuff there, and then sabi ko this isn't sustainable. Sabi ko dito pwede sa future na this wouldn't last long kasi ito parang usually mga fad lang talaga. So that was a time that I dived into cryptocurrency, and nakita ko na meron akong tinanim ng konti sa coins.ph that time na Bitcoin. Nagulat na lang ako kung ano ng value kasi pinatulog ko na lang. That was a time na parang nagkaroon ako ng drive to study about the industry. And at first, of course, I dived into cryptocurrency, nasabay ng bull run, and yung pakiramdam ko na parang okay, ang galing, parang lahat ng trades ko tumatama kasi bull run. And then what happened is nagkaroon ng first dump ng bull run. Doon ako natauhan na hindi pa pala enough yung knowledge ko. And at the same time din, sabi ko, hindi ako nag-enjoy sa eh, eh, crypto trading in general, even if natuto ako. And then, what happened is, nagkaroon ako ng nag-aral pa rin ako. I dived more into the industry. Sabi ko, crypto lang ba talaga yung nasa industry na to? So, nag-dive in ako. Nagkaroon ako ng mga community sa Discord. I learned about NFTs. That was a time na sumisikat na yung CryptoPunks, Bored Ape Yacht Club, and parang ako I wanted to study this kasi parang may siya, parang ang saya niya tignan, may art, may pictures, parang Kumbaga, yung term ko lagi na sinasabi ko sa mga videos ko, naghahanap ako lagi dati ng visual representation of what I'm investing in. So, parang nung time sa crypto kasi you don't see what you're investing in. But with NFTs, nakikita mo siya. So, yung parang sa akin, that's the first step na nakuha ng interest ko. So, pumunta ako doon. Mostly international yung mga nakakausap ko. Nag-start ako investing into one NFT na that was parang binili ko lang out of dahil Doge yung picture. That was, I think, a Doge pound ba yun if you heard about it. Mababa pa yun. And syempre, hindi ko din naabutan yung pinaka rally niya to take profit from it. Pero it's fine. One of my learnings, doon ako natuto. Marami ako naging communities na nakilala, especially yung if you heard about this community, cyberkongs. Meron ba mga cyberkongs dito? Ayun.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Nagkaroon ako ng cyberkongs. Kasama ko sa mga hindi pa siya nag-rally, yung naniwala early kasi nakita ko ang ganda ng community. And unfortunately, nasold ko siya ng around 5 ETH yata. Doon ako natuto. Pero isa yun sa mga learning experience ko na community talaga yung isa sa mga bumubuhay ng NFTs kasi after sobrang solid na community ng cyberkongs na umabot sila ng I think all-time high ng 45 Ethereum, etc. Which was one of my regrets. But still part of their community kasi ginawa ko naman, nag-hold naman ako ng mga partnerships nila. So, through that, doon ako natuto kung how the NFT world works. Sobrang fast-paced talaga niya. Yung kung ano yung mga uso dati, iba yung nauso ngayon. And that was the time na parang I was dreaming of, sana pasukin na to ng mga real-life artists. Yung mga totoong artists na yung magkaroon na ng real-life utility. Parang yun yung parang yung parang magkakaroon ka ng benefits talaga. Parang was dreaming na parang yung same benefits ng Bored Ape or parang magkaroon tayo ng mga sikat na artist talaga, na well-known artist na pumasok sa industry. And kung i-connect ko dito ngayon, after that, kalagitnaan ng mga pag-invest ko sa mga NFTs and crypto, that was a time na nag-start na ako mag-document. Na nag-start na yung TikTok career ko with Web3. And fortunately, naging successful siya na umabot din ako ng number of followers sa TikTok. And happily, syempre, from learning experience kasi nung una, hindi pa ako marunong talaga gumawa ng content about education. So, ginawa ko more of like kung ano yung pinagdadaanan ko, ano yung mga pinapasok ko, etc. And then, now, focusing into education na rin. And yun, all throughout, ngayon nakilala ko yung Scarlet Box. Natuwa ako kasi ito yung inihintay ko talaga, na magkaroon na talaga ng national artist involved. Na talagang real artist na sa Philippines kasi parang I think this is an opportunity na mag-start na may pumasok na sa industry na to na talagang well-known or talagang proven and tested na locally and in real life. So, kumbaga, that's why parang I'm here right now. Ayun. Sorry, magulo yung kwento ko.
Okay lang. Okay. No.
Okay.
Thank you so much, no? Parang, and thank you also for sharing. Thank you so much for sharing, your journey, no? And for sharing also what you had to go through. And I also, parang, same as Brian, parang you can see a lot of sacrifices, no? That also had to do for your family, no? So,
Yeah.
I think it's a very Filipino culture talaga, no? Parang we take care of our family and not just ourselves. And yeah, and Giu now has over 100,000 TikTok followers now with what he's been doing and how he's trying to educate people on crypto and NFTs. And thank you so much also for supporting. So thank you so much, Giu. Kailan ka kakanta, ngayon na ba o mamaya? Pwede rin ngayon na.
Oh, sige.
Okay.
Like wait. Sige.
Gusto ni Chezka, no? Mauna ka talaga kumanta before daw tayo pumunta sa kanya.
Si Chezka ata kumakanta din. Anyway.
Talaga?
Alam ko singer din na mag-heart yan.
Hindi po.
Okay, sige. Ano ba maganda? So, alright, ito. Fly me to the moon, let me play among those stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you. Yeah, thank you.
Wow! Galing. Yeah, thank you so much. I mean, thank you for sharing that. And it's very unusual to have someone like you, young person to enjoy and sing jazz, 'di ba? Kasi a lot of the people parang they go for pop, ganyan, but ikaw you appreciate jazz and Fly Me to the Moon, 'di ba? It's what's that, 1950s ba 'yon? When it's of 60s pa, but it's
60s.
it 60s, no? So it's great that you appreciate, 'di ba? That music. So, yay! Baka later, ha? So, later, baka, sample again.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Giu. Maraming salamat, no,
All
to
right.
share that also with us. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Chesta, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Yay! Nasa bahay ka na?
Yes.
Ah, nice. Okay, I hope you're rested already and you're able to settle down. So, yeah, please tell us your story from this amazing woman who's a pilot and now she's also in the Web3 space. So, yeah, start from, when you were in college and what you took up.
Okay, sige. So, medyo maala-ala mo kaya yata yung kwento ko, pero medyo lagyan natin ng twist na medyo masaya. But, so I graduated, Bachelor of Science in Nursing. So I'm a nurse. I'm a registered nurse. And then meron akong dalawang baby noon. I had a baby when I was 16 years old. So dalawa na yung kids ko. My eldest is 17 years old na. So ina, at saka 12.
Mm.
And then after noon, kasi gusto akong maging doktor ng mom ko, but then yung heart ko parang ayaw. Parang ayaw, sabi ko. So nag-nurse ako para matapos ko siya, and then nag-apply ako as a flight attendant. Kasi I wanted to become a pilot before pero kasi parang yun nga, ang dami nangyari sa life, nagka-baby, and yung basta sobrang dami nangyari, so parang hindi pa ako prepared to become a pilot that time. So nag-FA ako, and habang nag-FA ako ng ika-4th year ko sa airline, na-realize ko talaga na sobrang gusto ko talaga magpiloto. So that was the time na nag-aral ako while working. So I was studying while working. Talagang pinagsabay-sabay ko lahat, every days off ko, doon ako lumilipad. And then nung natapos ko siya within like 3 years, natagalan ako kasi part-time. So total of yung 7th year ko, na flight attendant, nag-transition na ako to becoming an Airbus pilot. So nabigyan ako ng scholarship ng airline ko, ng Airbus rating. So ayun, kaya ako napasok sa pagiging first officer. And then, ayun, so 10 years ako sa airline, but due to the pandemic, nung 2020, walang mga job yung pilots and FA. So, I lost my job, and then from there, mahilig na kasi ako mag-business ever since. Mahilig akong mag-try ng mga lahat na ng pwede i-try na food business or merchandise, whatever, na-try ko na siya. So, mahilig ako mag-business nun, but then nag-dive in ako sa crypto. So nag-try ako mag-crypto, nag-enjoy ako kasi that was the time na nag-content creator before the crypto pala, I was a content creator na, because nung nasa airline ako, ang dami nagtatanong of how I transitioned to becoming a flight attendant to becoming a pilot. Kaya naggawa ako ng YouTube video ng how to become a pilot na in-depth, lahat ng tanong nila nandun na. So that was the start of my content creation. Tapos parang nagkaroon na ng brand deals, etc. So parang tinutuloy ko siya, but then it's not a full-time thing. Tapos nung pandemic and nasa crypto na ako, si Nas Academy, naging scholar ako sa kanya for the crypto content master course. So tinuruan kami nila Metacova, nila Nasir ng content creation, while tinuturuan nila kami sa metaverse, NFT, and crypto. So pinagawa nila kami ng mga videos, ganyan. And then from there, talagang yung knowledge ko sa space. Plus, nag-e-enjoy ako kasi parang lahat na lang nung friends ko na nandun, kasi 3 lang kaming Pinoy and then 50 kaming content creators all over the world na napili. Nung nandun na ako, parang lahat sila, they're doing something. They have an NFT project, alam mo yun, laging meron silang mga ginagawa na sa space. Tapos parang ako, sabi ko, I'm doing charities, I'm doing scholarships. I mean, I wanted to give scholarships, and I've been a scholar for so long na sa iba't ibang, kaya sa Airbus ko, dito sa NAS. Sabi ko, ba't hindi ko incorporate yung charities and scholarships to an NFT project? And doon nag-start yung Women of Substance. And I'm just so happy na yung mga kasama ko sa NAS na mga friends ko doon, sila din yung developer ko, tapos yung artist ko, si Lottie B, which is a TikToker dito sa Philippines. And ayun, parang ang saya lang kasi you get to touch lives and yun nga, hindi masyado nakakapag-post but then kasi nag-change kami to Ethereum eh. But then the scholarships are still there. We're giving out actually like 25,000 scholarship for sa isang school which is a learning app. Tapos magbibigay kami ng subscription do'n, ganyan. And then parang start pa lang yun tapos hanggang sumunod-sunod na yung mga kausap namin na mga beneficiaries which is the Fund Life, Girls Got This, ganyan, United Nations Women. So parang from there, dun nag-start lahat ng pagkahilig ko dito and then nagpunta ako ng Dubai, ah, para ma-immerse. Actually hindi, pumunta ako dun for a content creation, summit yung tawag kasi it's an invite only, na parang para ma-immerse talaga kayo. Tapos yun yung pinunta ko dun, nagkataon lang na because I stayed there for a month and I wanted to deep dive into, whatever like yung blockchain. Nagpunta ako sa mga parties do'n, sa mga blockchain events and then do'n marami na talaga akong natutunan tapos mga kasama ko pa do'n yung mga talagang deep into crypto and, NFTs. So, talagang natuto ko sa kanila tsaka sa fintech. And then napunta ako sa ano, hanggang may mga nakilala na ako na mga ano, friends na sinali ako sa Women in Blockchain Asia. And then from there nagpunta ako ng Singapore for a month, Malaysia din ako for a month, parang gano'n puro talaga like blockchain events and talagang building connections. And ayun, parang naiisip ko lang na I think kailangan kong yung mga connections na yun to put them into good use which means to bring business to the Philippines. And dun nag-umpisa yung Philippine Blockchain Week. So that's yun na yung parang ano, I just wanna give jobs, opportunities and ano lang, connections, yung businesses, bringing businesses to the Philippines and yun yung ang aking story.
Wow, parang it's also amazing, no? I didn't even know. I thought you took up flight pilot as college. I didn't know you were a nurse pala
Yes,
before. Wow, and then naging flight attendant, then pilot, and then now you're in the Web3 space, no? I mean, super galing. So in the Philippine Blockchain Week, parang you met with parang other organizers and you all thought of this. How did it? It's like it's a very big event, no? It's the largest event I've seen so far from seeing your deck compared to so far the other events, no, kasi it's international. You also have six partner hotels and it's a full week long. Also a full week long event ba? So go ahead,
yeah.
Cheska.
I don't wanna say it's the biggest or ano,
Mm-mm.
ganyan. For me, it's an impactful and transformational conference, I would say. Kasi it's a life-changing one. Gusto ko kasi once you, attend the conference, it's like magbabago yung buhay mo in a sense that you have found an investor, you have found a job, a friend, a love life, kasi may mga job fairs din kami. So it's more of like literally yung opportunities and ano, yun talaga yung akin. And yeah, it's a week long of activities. Actually, ako talaga yung brainchild nito. Nagkataon lang na na may mga I found the right people, I found the right partners from different countries, yun nga. So dun na nanggaling yung mga naging kaibigan ko sa Dubai, sa Korea, sa US. So parang nag-mix-mix na silang lahat and we just collaborated para to bring, to bring this to life. So yeah, ayun. I hope
Okay. Galing. I didn't know it was your. I thought it was like several organizers. I thought even nga it was a franchise, no, of let's say that's happening in other countries. But it's amazing to know that it's your brainchild, no, and it's your network that you've built, through your exposure that help you organize this, no. So galing, galing. So we'll all want to support you on that, no.
thank you.
So yes, thank you so much, Cheska. So maraming salamat, no. So for our three speakers, they shared with us very very different life trajectories and iba from the time they started sa college to where they are now, no. Pero if all of us know, no, even ako, parang it's being able to manage and moving and shifting with the wind. Those are the most resilient ones, no, kaysa yung on one path lang and kahit ano they don't change depending on the situation, no? But it looks like for many people the pandemic, no, has shed light into many other opportunities, no, and possibilities that are available to all of us. So maybe, and again, I'd like to invite our listeners, if you want to say have any insight or want to have any questions for our speakers, just go ahead and request to speak, no, and we'd love to bring you to the floor. See, Ulran, I think I'm not sure if you're still interested to speak or say something. I mean, feel free to uh, come up to the stage or request to speak. No, I wasn't able to call you earlier right away. So maybe I'll ask. Brian, maybe I'll go back to you. Maybe let's go around. No, um, what is your, no, what do you think is, with what's happening now, um, moving forward, where do you see yourself going? Do you see yourself more into the Web3 space, or maybe now that things are normalizing, you will also strengthen your brick and mortar or more Web2 type of either investments or involvement? Where do you see yourself moving forward?
Well, actually, so in terms of the Web3 space, I'm actually pretty happy already with my project with Unit 256. If there's anything I learned from running multiple businesses, it's um, obviously you get spread thin, and I'm very passionate about what we're doing with Unit 256. So, like, I don't want to take on any other Web3 projects, and I'm sure that this one's going to be successful, and that we'll be able to help a lot of people. Once that's done, then maybe I can move on to the next one, but it's still a bit early. In terms of like other businesses, I did already start putting investments into brick and mortar again. Again, honestly, and I've had this discussion with my team. If I just wanted numbers to move on a bank account, then I would have just kept all my money in the stock market, or after it crashed and it rebounded, or kept my money in crypto, and just kept trading. But really, what I want is I want to be able to grow industries and give people jobs. So I took whatever I could, and I went back to brick and mortar with hopes that the pandemic's at a decline, and hopefully more and more businesses start springing up again, and we can give more jobs to people in tourism, hospitality, F&B, things that we're good at, and that we shouldn't lose talent in. So there.
Okay, that's really nice to see, no? Kasi parang, thanks for sharing that, Brian. Kasi it's really a balance of Web3 and also the real world, no? Kasi we really need real clothes, real place to go to, real food, no? So it's a good balance to have in our lives. But at the same time, we cannot also discount the power of Web2, Web3, no? Because that's how people get connected in scale, no? In scale in terms of awareness, of help in a big way. So interesting, no, that you are putting your time and energy in both spaces. For you naman, Giu, what are your, especially you're the one that siguro the deepest research, no, into this field, and in fact even the Ethereum merge, it's something that you have researched well. Where do you think Web3 will be in terms of do you agree, because there are different people that say 2023, about 2024 when it'll you know start to go already. So how about you? Where do you see Web3 going moving forward?
Actually, just to give an advice to everyone, it's not about the price action. Uh, th- I advise everyone na wag kayo mag-focus muna sa price action. Focus muna tayo about the developments of the technology that we're building, Web3. Ano ba pinaka-purpose niya? If you're gonna look at the bigger picture of it. Kasi before kasi it started, of course, crypto, given na yun. Sa NFTs, it started as basic artwork, degenerative arts, the next start, and then now we're moving into real artists, and then real life utility with NFTs, na ito yung makukuha mong perks, ito yung iba nagiging parang stakeholder ka na rin. Nag-evolve siya eh. Pero if you're gonna look at the bigger picture with Web3 and NFTs and other stuff, I'm gonna focus more first on NFTs. Nagiging ano siya eh, it's more about use case na rin. It's more of like, when you say NFTs kasi, non-fungible token, ang original na mindset ng tao, digital art lang. It's not just digital art. It's a digital property. It's your digital ownership of something digital in the blockchain. Diba? Technically. Kasi yung blockchain yung nagpa-power. So, if you're gonna use your imagination, patatakbuhin natin yung utak natin. Ano ang mga pwedeng maging ownership na digital? Diba? Digital. Ang daming pwedeng mangyari in the future. um I can tell some of my ideas now, yung tingin ko, but there will be things that will surprise us eventually. Ang daming developments, ang daming mga companies na startups na nagtatry gumawa ng something that would benefit us in the coming future. nandito tayo sa stage natin na parang yung internet noon pa lang, na nagsa-start pa lang, hindi mo alam what to expect. Ang daming companies na nag-start, hindi na nag-exist ngayon, pero it doesn't mean they're not successful. 'Di ba? Meron lang talaga silang mga naging lifespan. Meron naman mga companies na naging successful before, na successful ngayon. Like Amazon, 'di ba? Apple, may mga nagstay pa rin. Like, pero meron pa rin namang like Nokia, 'di ba? Before you cannot say Nokia as a failure. Nokia is a success. Kaso, namatay na lang siya during 15-year lifespan, 10-year lifespan. Ganon din sa crypto. Maraming companies na gumagawa ng technology, maraming ideas, maraming innovation na hindi pa natin mapipredict kung what can we have in the future. But ako, bold idea ko lang, maybe QR codes can be heavily used in the future. For example, concert tickets, plane tickets. Dahil pilot sa Chezka, isipin mo, ang challenge ngayon with concert tickets and plane tickets, 'di ba nagkakaproblema tayo ngayon, 'di ba? Yung parang pag nakuha mo ang concert tickets tapos minsan illegal pa yung magbenta, tatawagin ka scalper. Or pag hindi mo ma-attendan, tapos same thing as a plane ticket. Hindi ako masyadong knowledgeable about the rights of owning a plane ticket, pero kumbaga imagine it being on the blockchain na merong valid ownership, tas pwede mo siyang may rights ka, may more rights ka into your plane ticket. Gan marami, use your imagination. Marami pang pwedeng mangyaring innovation whenever you see something and you believe that this can be part of that innovation moving forward. That's an opportunity for you to dive in. Ngayon, sobrang exciting and nakakakaba din kung ano mangyari. But that's my point of view. Focus on the innovation, focus on the future, focus on the future utility, kasi pag price action lang focus mo, medyo blindsided ka on what's to come. Pag nakafocus ka sa innovation, mas nagkakaroon ka ng direksyon kung saan ka papasok. Kung kailan din magkakaroon ng right movement sa market. Yun yung pinaka-ma-advise ko sa karamihan. Anyway, ayun lang.
Okay, no. Thank you, Gio. Actually, maganda yung sinabi mo, no. And actually, if you look at it, in 2001, after that dot-com crash, there's a lot of as you mentioned, there's a lot of companies that went out, no. But there's also a lot of the ones that really came out of the dot-com crash. Those are the ones that are really strong today, no, like Amazon, eBay, Shutterfly, no. All came out after the dot-com crash. Even in 2008, that was another bear market, no? Stock market, etc. Doon naman lumabas sila Airbnb, di ba? And Airbnb would not have become big if it was a health market, no? If the stock markets are high, because it was a depressed economy. That's why people were now willing to stay in people's homes. Kasi kung hindi, why will I stay in some stranger's home? But because people were really saving money to go to, if they want to attend events or a conference, so they have limited funds, so they'll go to an Airbnb place so that they don't have to pay for a hotel. So, and people also who had to pay for their mortgages started, before, if it was a good economy, they will not allow strangers to their home, but because it was a tough economy, they have to pay for their mortgage. So they allowed people to rent one room out to this person, that person, no? So parang, just like us, no, with the pandemic, it can create opportunities. And, as what G was saying, parang, I do agree with that, no? The focus on the innovation that's happening. And parang a lot of people notice nga in 2018, when the market dipped, kind of people, ICO went bust, kind of tahimik lang yung mga tao, no? Not so much activity. But now, with this bear market, it's just amazing the building that's happening behind the scenes, no. Many companies are building, many individuals, many founders, no. So I do agree with Gio, and sometimes it's kind of hard to just rely on, okay, when will the market be bull again, no. But I guess to hunker down and focus on where we are, no, and continue building. So thanks for that. And I also like what you said about there's many possibilities, whether QR code or NFTs in the area of plane tickets, concert tickets, even identification. No? So there's so many possibilities. Okay. Now, Chezka, for you naman, where do you think, where do you think like communities, no? Kasi that's something that you are, that's something that you spend a lot of time in, the communities. Where do you think it will go moving forward, no? And and how powerful do you think it can be, and what are also the negative sides, because sometimes the negative side naman of communities is yun nga, parang if there's some negative news, ang bilis din mag-spread, no? Sometimes whether rightfully or wrongfully, because there's already people that will either spread the news or champion either a bad actor or a good actor. So, what are your thoughts on that moving forward?
Okay. Ako, I believe that, kailangan talaga ng community para lahat ng project or whatever, kailangan talaga natin ng community. But at the end of the day, hindi mo kasi maiiwasan yung ano eh, yung not everyone will like you. So parang kung may pangit na balita, wala talaga magagawa. I mean, yun talaga yung ano niya, yung con niya. Pero yung pro naman is when you have a community and may solid community ka, parang ano lang yan eh, yung friendship. Kumbaga, if you have like your support system, sila rin yung support system mo. So I really think that it is really important. Also, I believe na pagka you found the right circle and you found the right mga people to work with or to hang with, matututo ka eh. Kasi ako honestly like hindi naman ako sa space na to ever since. But being with the community na same minds kami, parehas kami ng gusto, natututo ako sa kanila. So parang pag sumama ka sa ganung crowd or ganung group, matututo ka din. And I believe na importante talaga yun. So kung kunwari kung gusto mo talaga matuto dito sa blockchain, sa NFTs, yung same people din yung kasama mo. So parang nangyari sa akin dun sa NAS Academy. I believe that yung group na yun was one of my like driving forces to start whatever I have right now. Kasi ano eh, sila yung nakikita mo sila, naririnig mo yung mga ano nila. So importante talaga yung community.
Okay. Thanks, Cheska. So maybe maybe just to refresh the space, no? We are here talking about our wonderful speakers who shared with us their life journeys and how through that they became influencers, no, in their own ways, and how they're able to help shape thoughts and opinions, no, in what they share and how they educate. So this is so we have our speakers, Brian Poe Llamanzares, Giu Comia, and Chezka Gonzales to share with us their journeys, no? And they've already shared with us parang the different trajectories. Moving forward, my question is this naman, no, in terms of the content creation. So I have two questions for all of you, no. First question is, um, how did you get a big following, no? And do you think was it what type of content did you put, or is it the content, or is it the type of story or personality that you have, or is it your opinion? What do you think was the main factor that increased a lot of your following? No, that's my first question. My second question naman is, do you feel that you're very recognizable now that medyo in the semi-high profile, and how do you deal with it? Parang if people know you and you don't really know them, so how does that feel, or how do you manage that? So how about you, Brian? What are your thoughts on these two?
So for me, I've always said that I was only famous by association. Um, so I kind of get the spillover following of my grandfather, my mom, my aunt. I've always kind of had more of a background role in kind of our family. So it that's kind of where the following came. Most of it actually came from 2016 election. And a big chunk of my followers at the start were actually just trolls and haters. So actually my following, for example, on Instagram used to be a lot bigger. Used to be about 120 plus thousand. But then Instagram went through so many updates where they started removing like fake accounts and Russian accounts and stuff like that. And so I got a lot less engagement, a lot less account to block, and things that I had to delete. But I also lost a big chunk of my following. And then it actually dropped to about like 506,000 followers. And then that's where it kind of leveled off, and everyone that was left was really more or less an organic follower already. And then I was really happy with that because there was just no more pressure anymore in what I was posting, whether or not I was going to get bashed that day. And then it just started kind of slowly growing on its own. So it grew to about 111,000 now. So really, my following is really just an offshoot of what's happening in the bigger sense of things, like with my family. But The few that have been growing over the years, those are, I guess, are from business ventures or activities that I participate in, whether it was in mixed martial arts or launching a new company or uh, joining racing as a thing. But generally, I guess people are just following because every now and then I post something interesting. But honestly, I always thought of myself as a bit of a square. Um, I work all the time. Most of my posts are basically just about work. I studied all the way until my doctorate just because I like studying. But there actually turns out to be an audience that appreciates that kind of stuff. So I don't know if that makes sense for how I've come along in terms of growing my following and content creation, but I'm just trying to post things that are socially relevant or things that I personally enjoy, and I'm just happy to know other people enjoy it as well.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Brian. So, parang it's you just the way I see it's really more like what's happening with you. You share that with people, but do you feel that you get to be more recognized by people that you don't know?
Yeah, it's the funniest thing. In when I was when I was running in the first campaign in 2013 with my mom, people would recognize me and say, "Ah, siya yung apo ni FPJ." In 2016 onwards, they would go, "Ah, siya yung anak ni Grace Po." And then more recently, it's just, "Oh, it's Brian Poe," and I'm like, "Oh, okay, yeah, that's me." And they'll say, like, they'll find me in the weirdest places. Like, they'll be like, "Oh, nakita namin yung racing career mo. Sobrang ganda na ikaw yung naging unang race car driver ng Porsche design dito sa Asia." And I'll be like, "Wow, they actually saw that." Or some people will be like, "Uy, ang galing, nag-graduate ka ng doctorate mo." And I'd be like, "Oh, how did you know?" And it turns out that they're teachers from the academic community and they appreciate that. So every now and then it's just really interesting. And it's gotten to the point where when people see my mom in public, they verify it because I'm beside her. So there was this one time we were flying back from Thailand, and they were like, "Oh, Grace po, pengin ng selfie." And so she was like, "Okay." And then she goes, "Paano mo nalaman na, na ako si Grace po?" And then they were like, kasi nakamask daw siya. And they were like, "Hindi, nakita namin yung anak mo eh." And so I was like, okay, so that is truly my role, is to verify my mom. I'm basically I'm a walking blue check for my mom.
Okay. Wow. And how do you feel naman about being so recognizable? It's something naman na you don't mind, or I mean, are you a private person? Are you more of an extrovert?
I'm actually not. I'm not that recognizable. Like when I'm out with friends, or like for example, be hanging out with Sina Marco Gumabao because they were like my friends when we were in Star Magic, or James Reed because he's my business partner in Brooklyn Social. Like one time we were walking in Greenbelt, and we'd be walking, and James was beside me, and then people were like, "Ah, James Reed," and so so me and my friends just left James to
Oh,
get cannibalized by all the fans. And then one of my friends was like, what's this? Hindi. Si Brian Poe, to try and get them away from James. And no one made fun. And I'm like, bro, it's not the same, man. It's totally not the same. So I still get my private life. And a lot of people aren't familiar also with my last name being Llamanzares. Most people know me as Brian Poe. People send me invitations as Brian L. Poe. So it also gives me a level of anonymity when I make reservations. I'll make it under my last name, and also it's just nice to be able to be behind the scenes. I don't envy my mom when we get stuck at an airport or in a mall. Definitely, it comes with the territory, right? And super proud of her, but I also don't know if I would be able to handle the same kind of attention. So yeah.
mm. Okay. Thanks for that. No, kasi I mean, ako rin, I'm a private person. So to me, I understand what you're saying. That sometimes you need to be out there, but then again, sometimes you just need some own space. No,
Yeah,
so
no, it's really hard sometimes because, like, for example, and this is in a professional sense. um Back in 2016, there was a lot of hype about people that I was dating, and while that's really cool when you're a kid, it's not really that great when you're a lot older and people are looking for your professional credentials. It took me 6 years to kind of scrub Google and make the first page more about what I've been able to accomplish in terms of academics or public service, than all the tabloid gossip that came with being in the spotlight. So there are pros and cons to being popular, in that sense. I never thought that I was on the level of any of these like artistas or celebrities, but you know, truth be told, I'm really just, uh, again, famous by association to my family members.
Okay. Thanks for sharing that. And then thanks also for sharing the anecdote, no? Kasi sometimes kami, we don't really, like ako, I'm like an ordinary person and, not having like high profile relatives or ano. So it's interesting for us to hear how it feels like to be, to have like a actor, or a public servant, like parent, grandparent. So to us, thank you for sharing that, no? Kasi it's an insight that we don't normally see, or we don't see how it feels like. How about you, Giu? Do you feel that parang what do you think in your content that made people increase your amount of followers, or what do they like about what or how you do your content, and also how do you also deal with being recognizable?
Actually, sige, parang sobrang ano, like, there are a lot of stories because I've been doing a lot of things ever since before. Um, Siguro ika-categorize ko na lang. As a singer and someone from like trying to do showbiz before, sobrang sarap sa pakiramdam when you're like being recognized and stuff kasi parang yun yung naging dream mo during that time. But in terms of content creation naman, of crypto, um iba-iba kasi yung ways of like growing with it eh. No, at the very first kasi parang magsa-start ka with I told you so moments, like yung kasi you cannot 100% predict crypto and NFTs, but when you do something right, yun yung pumapatok sa mga tao, or vice versa. Same thing. Kumbaga, do something right, do something wrong, yung pumapatok. That's when you start getting like attention kasi ang mga tao, most of the people are always waiting for results before they see you as someone credible or someone they'd like to follow. And then after that, doon ako nag-focus just recently actually, na unti-unti nag-educate na rin sa mga tao because syempre nagkaroon ako ng enough following to do so. Before kasi if you do crypto education, walang manonood except when you do something na parang kaka-hype ng tao like Axie Infinity before, etc. So ayan, it was a process. Pero right now, syempre ang iba yung feeling na na-recognize sa public na may katuturan, na they're learning a lot from you and they're diving deep into Web3 and learning Web3 with you as well. Kaya tas nakakabuo ka ng community. And also like this, nagkakaroon tayo ng mga ganito. Iba sa feeling. Mas rewarding siya. Yun yung difference.
Okay.
Ayun.
And how about ano naman? So parang you did parang trial error. Parang on what content people will
Yes.
like, parang ganon.
Madami talagang trial and error kasi it wasn't easy. Kumbaga parang hintay mo talaga muna kung ano papatok sa tao, and then eventually you will gear towards your real goal, which is talagang diving deep into Web3 and educating kasi yun naman talaga. Pero it all starts with small contents na a normal person can understand, a normal person would do, of course, kasi yung education itself hindi naman talaga. Parang nagiging avenue lang yung results, journey to other stuff, to Web3, pakita mo kung ano yung mga pinapasok mo, etc. To get people, and then after that, you educate. Parang ganun. Ganun yung naging strategy ko sa Web3. Anyway.
And how about being recognizable? Do you feel that mas na-recognize ka na ng tao now that you have this many followers and that you're out there?
Um, before I was used to it technically, but as a singer and as yung nagko-commercial and nag support sa teleserye. But this time around, kasi 'di ba kakabalik lang ng mga live events. I went to this event called the G Music Fest. May NFT integration na rin sila doon. If you heard about it's a globe event sa Circuit Makati. First time ko na
Yes.
encounter kasi may NFTs doon. First time ko na encounter na people are recognizing me live in a public event about my TikToks and NFTs, etc. Tapos parang they watch my TikToks, they're learning a lot from me. Iba yung feeling. Sobrang rewarding. Yun lang talaga masasabi ko.
So paano they approach you and tell you about the episode they watched? Parang ganon?
Some sort of like that. Iba-iba. Basta more of syempre kilala ka because of crypto and NFTs. And ito yung natutunan nila sa'yo. Merong iba nagsabing episode they watch. Nagulat ako, ang dami palang nare-reach. Even if I just have around 120,000 followers, parang ang dami ng na-reach pala. So yun.
Wow, that's amazing. Actually, 120,000 is a lot.
Yeah.
That's really a lot, no?
For me kasi parang nasanay ako dati na 500 to 1M. Ngayon lang ako parang feel ship. Of course, naranasan ko kasi yung mataas talaga. Ngayon nag-start ako from the bottom. So parang hindi ko alam na ganyan na rin pala yung impact of it. So yun.
Okay, nice. That's so cool. How about you, Chezka? No, from your what you've shared, your strength is really community building and connecting people. No, so and you also see yourself as a content creator. What do you think and what do you do that make parang that allow you to build this much connection? Is it like charm, persistence, or I don't know, kindness? Anong sa tingin mo yung secret formula? That's why that allowed you, like, kunyari, creating this Philippine Blockchain Week is a very big feat, and to have that many big speakers on for the event. So what was a secret sauce you think, no, that allowed you to do all this, and and also in your content creation?
Mhm. I can't say there's a secret sauce. It's more of, okay, sa content creation kasi, I actually started na hindi ako mahilig mag-post at all. As in, hindi ko alam kung bakit ayoko nag-share ng ano dati, picture, something nung bata ako. Pero, it started actually when nung nasa airline na ako. Kasi a lot of people were asking how I became a flight attendant to becoming a pilot. So, hanggang ang dami na nagtatanong, hindi ko na masagot yung mga naka-private pa nga lahat ng social media ko dati, tas message sila ng message na parang how, et cetera. So that was the time na nag-start ako and gumawa ako nung how to become a pilot, et cetera. So dun nag-umpisa yung content creation journey ko, but I just made that para lang hindi na ako paulit-ulit ng sagot at saka matulungan ko yung mga taong gustong mag-start ng maging piloto. Hanggang nagsunod-sunod na siya na parang ang dami ng nagme-message sa'kin na naging piloto sila because of me. Tapos, hanggang ngayon, as in, sobrang yun ang fulfillment ko talaga. Tapos, alam mo yun, nai-inspire sila sa story mo, and then hanggang nagtuloy-tuloy na siya na parang hanggang mga commercials na yung story ko yung fini-feature nila. So it's more of the story na siguro dun nag-umpisa yung sa content creation part. Also, yung impact, I believe kasi na it's not the number of followers din. It's more of the impact that you will make. So yung akin, yung ito gusto ko i-share kasi napakalaking bagay talaga nito. Like merong isang bata na 16 years old na suicide. Tapos, nabuhay siya. And then tinawagan ako nung parang aunt niya, sabi sa akin, sobrang daw, gusto daw akong ma-meet, makausap, ganyan. So kinausap ko. And then, ayun, so naka-survive siya dun sa suicide at attempt niya. But dahil sa COVID, namatay siya. Tapos hanggang dun sa dulo, nag-voice message siya sa akin na sobrang na-inspire siya sa akin, sobrang thankful siya, hanggang yung message na yun. So parang for me, I feel that content creation is actually making an impact and making at changing lives talaga. So hindi ko siya, ako nga sinasabi ko, pagka meron ka lang mabagong kahit isang tao lang, you're already successful. So yung part na yun, dun yung sa content creation. As for the connections, I think bata pa lang kasi ako, parang it's natural for me na mahilig talaga ako, I'm a friendly type of extrovert talaga ako. So siguro hindi ko masasabi na it's more of like it's a natural thing for me talaga. Na gano'n na lang ako makipag-usap. It's more of a relationship basis lahat ng mga ginagawa ko. It's not, I mean, business comes second, but sa akin kasi number one is a relationship basis talaga lahat. So I think that's the
Okay. Thank you, no? Thank you, Cheska. Kasi parang dun ka magaling eh. And I can see your energy, no? When I first encountered you even in spaces, and then after I saw you in person, parang Cheska is very charming, no? So I think that's how she got all the connects people together, no? So but yeah, parang making an impact, no? I think all of our speakers today, that's one theme also very common, no? And how we make an impact either through employment, no, or how creating jobs, no, like in the case of Brian, and then Gio naman in terms of education and how we educate people and create an impact, and also for Cheska, it's how we share our lives, no, and how we connect people, that we create an impact, no. So parang it's very nice to see that in many ways the three of you are similar with different life purpose, life patterns, a lot of sacrifices for the family, and if you we saw it, sacrifices for the family, and then how you try to make an impact, no, for the society around you. So super thank you, and and we really appreciate all your presence. We have, I think, Bit Crumbs. Did you have a question or insight for our speakers?
Yeah. Hi. Hi, everyone. I'm actually calling from Dallas, Texas, USA.
Oh, okay. Hi.
And so great to hear from everyone. And Brian, Gio, Jessica, all very humble. And so I've been married to a Filipina for 20 years
Nice.
and have been coming to the Philippines. I was just there in April.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we have a resort that we purchased that's down in Laguna, down outside of San Pablo. We have property that we're getting ready to build a house in Tagaytay. Um, I really like the idea that Brian doing the fractionalized artwork. When I first started coming to the Philippines doing business about 20 years ago, I used to sell condo hotels there in Makati. Some of you may know Lancaster Suites there off of Samat and Etsa across from Wack Wack Club. I
Mm-hmm.
helped sell some of those there, worked with the owner and the builders there. I'm also very good friends with the Padilla family there, who also do a lot of condos. Right now, we do a lot of ministry work over there in the Philippines. We've planted some churches. We send over care packages. Um, we help put people to school. We have a scholarship program that we put people through college. And we've been very successful at seeing people who have nothing and graduate and go on to get good jobs, build wonderful families, and really buy cars and houses. So it's always good to give back. I've been in crypto for about a little over 3 years now and follow what's going on over there. The goal is my wife and I are planning to move there full time, probably by the end of this year. And I just wanted to introduce myself and get more connected into the local community there. I just put together a paper, and I'm hoping that when we get there, I can plug into some of the community there and start working on a new Web3 project that we're putting together. So if anyone is interested in what we're working on, you can follow me on Twitter. I've written several books. I do artwork. I have some NFTs that I'm trying to build a brand around, but I haven't been very successful. So maybe Jessica can help me with that. I'm not sure if she wants to do that or not, but I do have some work that I'm trying to build a brand around. So I just wanted to introduce myself, and hopefully one day I can meet some of you at one of the local events. I follow BitPinas a lot. That's where I found that you guys were speaking today. So I just want to say thank you for all that you're doing. The Philippines is great. The people are beautiful. And I really think you're at the forefront of the new technology there. And I see a great future. And I look forward to working maybe with some of you in the near future. So keep up the good work. And thank you for listening. And hopefully I'll see some of you one day.
All right. Thank you so much, Bitcrumbs, and thank you for joining us from Dallas. I'm not sure what time it is now, but it's is it like
It's
in the morning?
9:39
9:30 in the morning.
9:39 a.m.
Okay, nice. So it's not an unholy hour. So thank you so much for joining us, and it's nice to see somehow you have Philippine influence and Philippine exposure, investments, and then we welcome you to the Philippines when you come back home this end of this year. So yeah, the Web3 space is very warm, and especially the Philippine community, and very open. So feel free to reach out to any of us. Uh, and I have a question here moving forward. I have a question here from Ninong Jules. No, actually, Ninong Jules is important. He's a writer from Bitpinas, because you mentioned Bitcrumbs. You mentioned Bitpinas as being one of your source of news. So he has a question that he sent earlier. He said that he tried to be a content creator on on Facebook by live streaming Axie Infinity back in 2021, but because of his laptop couldn't handle the abuse of OBS. I'm not even sure what OBS is. So he had to stop. So what can you advise on how to redeem yourselves to want to go back into content creating? So I'm not sure if any of our speaker want to answer. I don't know if Gio, you would be the closest to that. Or
Yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
yes,
I'm
again,
not sure.
naglag slide.
Okay lang, okay lang. So si Ninong Jules was asking kasi he was a content creator before using Facebook live streaming, but because
Yeah,
his laptop couldn't handle the abuse of OBS. I'm not sure what OBS is, sorry. So he
yeah, I
had to
know.
stop. So what advice can you give him if he wants to go back to content creating?
Actually, I was a streamer before. Nakalimutan ko lang, I just forgot to mention. I streamed for about like some 2019 to 2020 using OBS as well. It was a booming industry, OBS. But right now, uh, if you would follow the social media trends, there's new thing that's coming around. That's why I transitioned into short form content creation, because short form content creation is for people who has short attention span, and most
Mm-mm.
of us really has short attention span. If you're really gonna analyze it, because we get easily bored, and we have a fast paced lifestyle right now that we just want to be spoon fed with information and contents. So I think if you want to go back to content creation, you could not you can ignore OBS and just focus on your phone, because most of the time, on content creation, everybody's using their phone. So in your phone, Facebook and Instagram is gonna have their new update coming October 1, which is they're gonna focus more on short form content creation. That may be an opportunity for you, or maybe TikTok is also an opportunity for you. So the latest trends are going into short form contents. So if that's for you, there's an opportunity for Facebook and Instagram, because October 1 there's gonna be a huge update. So that's my advice.
Mm, okay. All right. So talaga no, short form content. Even I remember no when Facebook was helping in terms of ads no. This is for another business. Parang one thing that they say, use videos. Parang yun yung sinasabi nila palagi, and also limited to 15 seconds, 30 seconds, mahaba na. So really, it's really short form no, kasi nga because of the scrolling pattern of people, you need to catch their attention before they scroll another second or two. So I think Gio's on the right track, no? We have a question from Philippine Who, and then later also I'm going to read a question from Isma, no? So Philippine Who, is that Maliksi?
Yes, yes, it is. Magandang
Yes.
gabi ulit, actually.
Magandang gabi. Yes. Good evening.
Yes. I have a few questions for each of the panelists guests, if that's okay.
Sige, go ahead.
Okay, teka, basahin ko lang. Sinulat ko eh. For Brian po, it's nice to know that you've gone this route for higher education, and it's something that you don't really hear often. You may offer from NASA, and that you study the environment. My question is, how do you see the Web3 or NFT space with the possibility of empowering communities? They may help in mitigating climate change or any other environmentally related problem. Or if that's not something that you've been looking into lately, are there any other causes which you think could be championed using the NFT space or the Web3 technology dito sa Pilipinas?
Oh, magandang question yun ah. To be honest with you, until you brought it up, hindi ko naisip yun kung paano gamitin yung Web3 space para tulungan yung mga kababayan natin when it comes to climate change. No? But really, one of the things that Web3 allows is the opportunity to finance good projects, right? That's why, like, for example, the person who was asking questions earlier, or introducing himself here. Sorry, I wasn't able to catch your name. He mentioned he had a white paper. One of the things that's prominent in the Web3 space is to develop a project, have a white paper, and present it to the people. So, what there are different ways that you could actually finance sustainability through the Web3 space. For example, imagine creating a coin that basically just goes towards financing rainforests and making sure that illegal logging doesn't happen, or that communities are taken care of. Or why not create a metaverse in which every plot of land you buy in the metaverse goes towards preserving that land in real life, right? I don't know if any of these concepts have already been explored, but the point is the Web3 space provides two things. It provides connectivity, another opportunity for people to come together behind an idea, and it provides the ability for them to transact. So basically, if you put forth an environmental concern in the Web3 space, you brand it properly, you build the hype behind it, then there's no reason why it wouldn't be able to help fund a project that will actually help rebuild the community, reforest an area, or protect any of the natural resources that we currently have. Like, could you imagine if Leonardo DiCaprio decided to stop dating 25-year-olds and focus on building a crypto based coin that would finance all of his sustainability efforts? I mean, that would be something, and I'm sure a lot of people would probably buy in just for the hype of it. But yeah, that's just off the top of my head. Those are a few ways that you could use Web3 to finance sustainability.
Maraming salamat, Brian. Next question goes uh, to Giu. Wait lang, basahin ko lang. So, ang dami mga insights about yung crypto space and then transitioning dito sa NFT and the possibilities of focusing on looking into the future rather than the hype on what is being built. My question, first question, you've been through that awkward space between physical and digital when we were transitioning from, the records and cassettes to MP3s, now ngayon streaming na. What similarities can you see in the current Web3 space? Kasi they keep on saying it's still early. And how can we thrive amongst its ups and downs? Because trial phase nga to eh. Parang it's a time that people make mistakes and yung sweswertehin, they will thrive and stay long. So how do we stay long amidst those ups and downs right now?
All right. To actually, I'm gonna focus on your first point. Yung the transition period actually that I experienced is of course similar to what we're having right now, because right now, um, people don't people are getting fed up of the traditional Web 2, but at the same time can't accept Web 3 fully yet. So nandun tayo sa stage na yon. Same as the stage that I've experienced before. The thing about Web 2, it's controlled by the biggest institutions, right? Like for example, sila lang talaga yung nandun. But with Web 3, we have the opportunity to be part of the internet. We have the opportunity to be part of everything that is being built, rather than it is enclosed to specific institutions only. So, kumbaga, hindi pa na-realize kasi ng mga tao. It's not it's not yet, wala pa tayo sa stage of it being user friendly yet. If you're gonna look at it, everything's still complicated. But it will get better from here. Nasa stage kasi tayo na parang you're learning it the hard way because you're learning from the roots. Nasa roots pa lang tayo. So, advice is you diving in this industry, being one of the pioneers, it's still being early, means that you're gonna be the one who knows everything once everything booms. For example, everything becomes user-friendly. Ikaw yung tao na makakaalam from the roots up until the final finished product once dumating na yon. So you will have that advantage of experience. You will have that advantage of being mover in this industry. You just have to dive deeper, learn more, research more of the purpose of everything. Yun yung pinakamagandang way. You don't need to invest in everything you see. You can just dive in through studying everything that you see that is deemed to be learned. Yun lang talaga. That's the thing that I could advise to you.
Okay.
Maraming salamat. Ay, one last question. Okay lang kay Cheska.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead,
Okay,
Maxi.
sorry. Cheska, I learned about you from Chal. She's a long time friend.
Oh,
Nakikita kita sa content niya, some of her content.
yeah.
My question is, some tips on storytelling na pwede natin i-employ in whatever platform we're doing right now.
Oh, small world, ah. Oo, si Chal kasi pinalipad ko siya ng plane, ang gusto niya maging pilot. And then, so that's what I do actually. Kasi part ako ng ng Viva. So, content creator nila ako dun. Then, pinapalipad ko yung mga artist. Like, I do aircraft karaoke, parang carpool karaoke. Pero, nasa eroplano, mga ganon. So, I think, it's more of, at saka educational yung ginagawa ko. I think it's more of, tingnan mo kung ano yung strength mo and don't feel na trabaho siya. Like, feel mo na yung kumbaga like you're sharing your life. Ako kasi ganun eh, parang ayoko siya ma-feel na trabaho na siya. Unless brand deal siya. Pero pagka hindi siya brand deal, parang you're just sharing your journey. At saka isa pa natutunan ko, don't just share your wins, also share your process at saka yung journey mo. Kasi pagka kasi nakikita ng tao yung process, they will relate to you. They will feel na, alam mo yun, kahit nung nawalan ako for example ng job, I explained to them kung alam mo yun na hindi biro na for 10 years na sa airline ka, tas So I think it's more of, magiging pag relatable ka, mas madaling gumawa ng content, eh, at saka pagka yung para ka lang nagkukuwento, nagse-share ng experience, it will be easier for you sa part mo and dun sa nanonood. Kasi alam nila na authentic ka, na talagang yun yung ginagawa mo. So, yeah, and ano, gawa ka lang ng mga ano, imagine ka lang ng mga bagong, topics or kung ano man, alamin mo lang yung strength mo. Ayun.
Okay.
Mm. Maraming
Sige.
salamat. Thanks, Harry, for this space. This is a very
Okay.
informative night.
Okay, maraming salamat din Maliksi. Siguro I'll read the last question before we do our one round with all our speakers because I'm cognizant of the time and also we'll be announcing the winners of our contest. So I think Kat and John be ready to kasi they're the ones looking at the spinning the wheel and then also kung sino yung pinakamaraming likes sa NFT fan art. So please send me a message na lang. No? Okay, so I'll read the last question it's from Isma and he's asking so what how do you guys feel about virtual influencers no instead of human yung mga robot and AR influencers no and another pahabol na question to that is what kind of technology do you guys think will get huge amount of human attention kasi nga it changes like before it was Facebook and now it's more short content format that's why TikTok is gaining ground no etc. So I don't know if any of you would like to answer, or I don't know. I'm thinking Giu again. That might be more your alley.
Hello again. Can you please repeat that again? Sorry.
Oh, okay lang, okay lang. So ang tanong ni Isma is kung sa tingin mo in the next few years will be like the best platform for a lot of followers or what kind of technology that will get a huge amount of human attention. Maybe I'm guessing he means like a platform or maybe it's a platform or some sort of communication platform. And what do you think about influencers that are not human? Yung mga AI, AI
All
type
right.
of influencers, yeah.
All right. First and foremost, the platform actually, this is my take on it because it's all about like personal thoughts on what is the future platform. A lot of projects are trying to make that Web3 platform, but at the same time, it's really hard to get the masses into that Web3 platform. What I think is the platforms that we have now will eventually have to adjust into Web3, like what Facebook and Instagram is slowly doing. They're they're slowly adjusting to that because they know the threat of Web3 if they don't adjust. So they have this thing of if you can't beat them, don't join them. If you're gonna look at history Insta of Facebook, it first started with Facebook, right? And then what happened? Instagram was a threat. Facebook bought Instagram. So now Facebook owns Instagram. So what is the next thing that happened? They owned Instagram. Snapchat was a threat because of their stories, their Snapchats. What happened? They invented Instagram stories. They invented Facebook stories. So it decreased the user base of Snapchat. Snapchat. Most of the people who uses Snapchat uses it for filter, right? And then again, Facebook and Instagram are now focusing on short form content. I'm not saying that it will defeat TikTok, but they're doing something to get that piece of the pie. And another thing, Facebook is already integrating NFTs into their platform. If you can see, you can upload your NFTs verified on Instagram. So they're slowly experimenting into that platform. They also started renaming the company Facebook to Meta. It means they're adjusting to it. So I think Web 2 companies are gonna adjust to Web 3 eventually, just like what Facebook, the company Meta, is slowly doing. But of course, I'm still 100% pro into Web 3 startup companies, what if whoever can be successful. But Web 2 companies are adjusting to it as well. So I think from my personal opinion, it will be still the big players to adjust to it, and then it will just benefit us users eventually. So that's what I think. Just my personal thoughts. And the other thing about AI influencers, content creators, of course, it is a threat. Eventually, is it a threat for us normal people? Just like if you're gonna listen to Elon Musk's statement that he said AI is gonna be a big threat to us, and will can be a big threat to the human society unless you control it right. So we'll see. It's still very early for AI. I don't. We still lack info on what to expect about AI, and um, it's still early. So I hope what we watch in the movies, what we predict about AI is false. I hope everything works well with AI. And there you go. That's my personal thoughts.
Okay, thanks a lot, Gio. Ikaw pala yung dapat namin go-to, no? Anything with technology. So, it's fast din, no? How you dove deep and learned about this space, no? And coming from a different background. So, appreciate that. Thanks for the question, Isma. So, siguro we'll go one round of, we'll ask our speakers, no? Parang their thoughts. But before we ask them their thoughts, I'll announce the winners, no? But siguro for the speakers, just think about maybe your last message to our listeners today, and maybe to invite them to anything that you'd like to, whether it's a project that you're promoting or your platform. Feel free to invite our listeners tonight. And this will be recorded. So many times, what we have found that even after our spaces, we reach up to 400, 500 and more listeners, just because many of them listen to the recording afterwards, no? So the winner, so we have two winners tonight. So one winner will be the winner of the pinwheel contest, where we will be giving a beautiful Larry Alcala um, tumbler. Super cute siya. So the winner, and we will be posting the pinwheel later on. So my team just the team just sent the pinwheel, and the winner is Kaz. Kaz of YGG. He won. You'll be winning a premium Larry Alcala tumbler. So congratulations. And for our fan art with the most likes, the winner is Maharlika. Congratulations, Maharlika, for winning the fan art. So you will be getting a Larry Alcala NFT. So that's special. No, so our team will take notes so that they'll be able to let's say ship the prizes and take note of the other prize. No, so congratulations. Also, before we do our last round with our speakers, everyone in this space, if you, some of you are already whitelisted, but if you are not yet whitelisted, feel free to send a direct message to, it can be to this account that I'm using, to the Scarlet Box. You just send us your email address and we'll put you in our whitelist, no, for Larry Alcala. It's going to be a very special drop. We will have four kinds of rarities. There's going to be common, rare, platinum rare, and diamond rare. No, so it will be very interesting. And the diamond rare, that's the one that will have the profile face of Larry Alcala, no, embedded in one of the PFPs. No, so it's going to be a lot of fun. And it's going to be, you'll be able to find someone you can identify with, and it's super nice to collect or trade or give us gifts. No, and something special, we'll have wonderful gift items, gift merchandise, super exciting stuff, cool stuff, and it'll only be accessible to people who have Larry Alcala NFTs. So you'll be able to have access merchandise, and so you can give it as gifts during Christmas season. And maybe it can be a PFP of someone you love, whether it's a nurse, it's a pilot, it's a couch potato, it's a dog lover, cat lover. No, and dami klase. Larry Alcala, so many characters, will be able to find one for you or for your family or for your friends. No. And then, aside from the NFT, there's merchandise, no, that you can choose to give so that they can appreciate it. No? And it's something new, and something that will last with the test of time, something that we preserve. And it's also historical, no, in that it has a lot of historical significance. So we'd like to invite you to join us in that journey. It's going to be a lot of fun. So the founders NFT, the ones who collected our email and Hoya, they will have first dibs. There's going to be a pre-sale starting the next 2 days. No, tama ba? Yeah, in the next 2 days, so September 22 to 30, no, mauna sila with certain perks, and then the private sale will start sometime in October. So that's what we have planned. So it's going to be exciting because we want to take care of all our collectors, no, current and future. So congratulations again to the winner, and maybe we'd like to do a round. Brian, your thoughts on any message that you'd like to share with all of us, or learnings through your life that you'd like to share, and also if you have any projects or events or things that you're working on that you'd like to invite us to, please let us know.
Yeah, sure. Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you to everyone for listening. I know I kind of sound barado, but that's also because I'm super sick. But thank you for listening to what I had to say, and for those of you who followed, thank you for following. I'm not, like I said, I'm not the celebrity that my mom or my grandfather or my aunt is. So every time I get new followers, I really appreciate it. Like, I know what it's like to start from no followers at all. So I appreciate everyone that comes on board and follows my content. So speaking of following content, just three things that I'd super love it if you guys could, uh, you know, follow. One is, uh, I'd super appreciate it if you could support my mom. She's really pushing for SIM card registration. I know this is a political topic, but it also affects us in the social media and Web3 space. It'll help clean up a lot of the tech scams that we're getting. I know that you guys probably get those issues also. It'll help protect our data privacy. It'll also help weed out all those uh, you know uh, troll accounts and all the bad stuff from the internet. It's a step in the right direction, and if you guys could support her, that would be a big help so that we can get it passed. The next thing is, just if you're bored, you can follow my racing career. I just started this year, so I'm racing against all the best in the country. Um, so if you're bored and you want to come over to Batangas or to Clark for one of the race weekends, please do. I'd love to see you there. The first one that's coming up is this weekend. Hopefully, I'm well enough to compete. If not, the next one is in October. And yeah, the last thing is, if you have time, stop by the Artifact website so you can take a look at what we're doing in terms of our NFTs and how we're fractionalizing art. If you like any of it, feel free to chip in and buy one. Know that for every piece that you buy, obviously, I, all of that goes to the artist. We only get a very, very small percentage of each transaction just to maintain the website and our staff. So hopefully you guys can support more Filipino artists and check out what we have. So there. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Brian. A quick question on you said the SIM card registration.
Yeah.
How does that work? I mean, what do you when one register, like how is it different from what's happening now, and how can people support in that way?
Right. If you're postpaid, it doesn't change your life because you've already registered, right? If you're
Okay.
prepaid, before you used to be able to, I mean, now currently you can buy a prepaid card and we wouldn't know who owns that card. So basically, what's happening now is people are buying prepaid cards and they're using it for tech scams, for terrorism, and for troll accounts. And ideally, what would happen is once we have SIM card registration, before you can buy a SIM card from the store, you need to present an ID, so that they can note down who that SIM belongs to, and then you can't resell that SIM to someone else. So like, let's say me, Brian, I go to 7-Eleven, I buy a Globe SIM. I have to first show my ID. They have to register it, and then I get my SIM card, and I can no longer sell that SIM card to anyone else because it's registered under my name. So that will also prevent people from buying SIM cards and then selling it to someone so that that person can operate under a false name. I mean, obviously, if you're really like trying to hide yourself, you could make pagawa a fake ID at Recto and show that and get your SIM card registered, right? But at least it's an extra layer of protection from all those casino scams and job offer scams. And it gives the NBI and other agencies the opportunity to track down kidnappers and terrorists. So there are a lot of reasons why we're really pushing for it. How you guys can help? Just commenting and supporting the politicians who are pushing for SIM card registration. That would be a big help. Or just spreading information about why it could possibly be a good thing. Of course, there's like downside. People are worried about their privacy being violated. But the reality check is if you kind of signed up for the contact tracing, chances are your information is out there. And though there's no proof as of the moment, a lot of people speculate that because of our contact information and everything being shared for the contact tracing, that was what was used in order to target us with all these tech scams. So, I mean, if you guys could help us fight these tech scams, I'd super appreciate it.
Yeah. No, I think we really need that. I mean, personally, I get every single day I get two or three texts of either some sort of gambling invite, job offer. Like, it's just amazing that a lot of people spend so much time and money like blasting. It's every single day, so I have to delete. So I know what you mean, no? And then people who are maybe more innocent, yeah, they're the ones that are victimized. So yeah, I do think that something like this, it's very good, no? And I hope it gets passed. Um, How about for you? And also don't forget to, if you can join Brian in his races. So that's another thing that we didn't talk so much about tonight. Maybe next time.
Yeah.
And also the artifact, no? Yes, Brian.
No,
So good luck.
I, I was just gonna say that if you guys did want to join, it's this weekend, Saturday to Sunday at the Batangas Racing Circuit. Yeah, if you guys end up being there, just say that you were at this event with Scarlet Box, and I'd be happy to chat you up and show you the cars. So yeah,
Nice. Wow. Okay. Then you get to see a celebrity.
well, you'll
uh,
see Marlon. He's definitely a celebrity. It's his race, so like I'd be happy to introduce you guys if you were there.
okay, nice. No, thank you so much for the invite to our community. So thanks, Brian. How about you, Gio? Any last thoughts and how you'd like to invite us to your what you have? Go ahead. Are you there, Gio? Okay, baka he's still there.
Sorry,
Let
sorry, I was doing
Okay lang.
something.
Okay lang.
Is this about like
Parang your last words, yeah,
yeah,
or the
yeah.
last message. Tapos if you want to invite them to watch your TikTok or your any other activities that's going to happen.
Yeah. All right. My last message to everyone is, we're of course, everybody saying we're early. Of course, we're early, but you have to take advantage of being early in the industry. It's not about investing right away. It's about investing right away your money. I mean, but investing your knowledge into studying everything from the roots, because we're still in the roots, and if you would get to know everything, why everything exists, you will have more accuracy into knowing your gut feel what to expect in the future. That same thing as my what I'm envisioning right now. And another thing is of course, um I'm here also to support Larry Alcala's work from Scarlet Box, because I'm a local artist myself. That's why I'm here to support local, real local art from a national artist. If you're into local artists, you're into classic Filipino artists, this one is for you. And of course, if you'd like to follow me on my TikTok, I mostly do contents on my TikTok. um a piece of advice, guys, don't dive into everything I content on TikTok. You can ask me directly. You can ask me directly if it's a good project or what. And another thing to remind you guys about stuff, when you see something, not just from me, from everything else, especially in Twitter, if you get to know the roots of everything, you get to study everything from the roots, you will get to have a better feel if a project you see is a good project or not. That's my advice. Anyway, you can follow me on my TikTok. It's the same thing as my Twitter account. It's at Giu Comia. There you go. Also in Instagram.
Okay. Okay, cool. So follow Gio, and I do agree with what he said, no? Curiosity and learning a lot. Kasi a lot of good ideas don't come out of a vacuum. There really are intersections of already, existing ideas and thoughts that, you put together in unseeming ways. So you won't be able to come up with very good ideas and see how to relate things to each other if you don't learn about it, no? Kasi yun na, it's hard to get something great out of a vacuum. So agree, and let's all learn together. So thanks a lot, Giu. And Cheska, last words, and you'd like to invite us to the many things that you do, like the Philippine Blockchain Week and others. Go ahead.
Okay. First of all, thank you, Miss Sherry, for inviting me here, and nice meeting you, Brian and GU, of course. Thank you everyone for listening to our stories. I was actually inspired also by your story, Brian and GU. Yeah, please do follow me on my social media channels. It's all Filipina Pilot Cheska. And as for the Philippine Blockchain Week, that's happening on November 28 to December 4. A lot of things in store, and I can assure you it's a life-changing conference. And if you're new to the space, or you're very curious, I think this is the best time to dive in, and para marami kayong matutunan. So yeah, I hope to see you there, and thank you so much for having me.
Okay. Thank you so much, Cheska. And I'd like to thank you so much, no, our three speakers tonight. Brian, thank you so much. I mean, you're not feeling so well. So, I'm so glad that it's not face to face so that you can join us tonight and we can hear from your experiences. And ako, I really learned so much. I never knew that you had all these experiences or background, no, and that you had this vision and how much you sacrificed for your family as well, no, and how you like to help the community and how you continue to explore so many different life experiences, race car driving, and then in watches, and then NFTs and art NFTs. So good luck, and we'd like to support you as much as you can. And thank you so much for joining us. Giu also, maraming maraming salamat.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you, Brian and Chezka, for being also gracing this with me. Also, I've learned from you guys as well, and grabe. Nice meeting you, Brian. Chezka, I've been with a lot with a lot of events already in Singapore and here in the Philippines. And see you soon, Brian. Hope to see you soon. And
Mm-mm.
thank you guys. Also, you
Yes.
guys.
Yes, thank you, Gio. Si Gio, I met also for the first time, and Cheska in an event in Manila. So maybe Brian, I'll meet you one day in person. So I met you and Cheska already. So grateful for that. And Cheska, thank you. Your energy, your loving heart, your ways to your amazing charm to connect all these people, because it does take charm, connect all these people, and perseverance, no, and trust, because the only way these people will say yes to speak, and you got a lot of very good speakers for Philippine blockchain Week is because there's already a lot of trust that they invested in you and in the relationship and what you can do. So thank you so much for that, and thank you for sharing your time tonight. So maraming salamat sa lahat ng ating guest speaker. Let's give them like hearts and and clapping hands. No, if everyone can give that. Thank you so much for that. And without much further ado, I'd like to wrap up the space, and feel free to leave. But thank you so much, Brian, Giu, and Cheska.
Thanks,
Just
Gio.
continue.
Thanks, Cheska. Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Thank you,
everybody.
guys.
Really nice
Okay.
meeting you guys. Hope to meet everyone in person.
Yeah, soon.
Yes, likewise. This is Sherry Gotoako. I forgot to introduce myself from the very start. so,
No,
so most people don't. Who's that talking? Who's that
Yeah.
red box
no,
talking?
we
Okay.
know who you are.
Okay, okay. Thanks a lot, Brian. Okay, thank you guys, and thank you, Bitcrumbs, Putik Brown, Lupi Moon, Aplom, Ninong Jules, Digital Pinoy, Sian, Sifcroft, Philippine Who, Mervin, Kaiser, Annette, Balitang Crypto, Harvest, or Harbs DE, Lirio, Jean, Maharlika, Kaz, Bones, uh, Bulosehi, B, and Aaron. Thank you so much, everyone, and good night, everyone. Have a
Thank
good
you. Thank
evening.
you. Thanks,
Take
Sherry.
Bye,
care,
guys.
Good
and
night,
get well
Bye.
guys.
soon, Brian. Get well soon.
Thank you. Bye,
All
everyone.
right. Bye,
Bye.
Gio. Bye, Chaska.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you.